Our word, talent, when we use that word, we mean things like a skill or an ability or some sort of God-given gift that we have. When we use that word talent, it comes directly from this parable. But the word has changed its meaning over time. So the way we mean it is different from the way that this parable means talent. At the time of Jesus, a talent was a unit of weight, a unit of mass. And it was the way in which people would measure treasure, silver and gold and fine pearls and jewels. So a talent was a little bit more than 100 pounds. So think of 100 pounds of gold or 100 pounds of silver. That is one talent. And so our understanding of the word obviously has changed over time. But think for a second. Jesus tells us this parable because he's trying to give us some sort of a warning and a challenge as we have been given great treasure to work in this world to get the world ready for his second coming. Jesus is coming back. And when he does, we will be asked how we used the talents we were given, the treasure upon which we were bestowed, to help to fix this broken world. But here's the incredible thing about the readings today. The church always gives us a first reading that helps us to focus and understand the meaning of the gospel. Did you hear what the first reading said? The opening line from the book of Proverbs was, "One who finds a worthy wife finds a treasure." Now that might sound a little bit odd for us because we're not in the culture when Proverbs was written. But when Proverbs was written, every single person got married. That's just the way that it was. Everyone married. And so every young woman was a wife. So what this reading is really saying, if we were to kind of translate it a little bit to our days, one who finds a holy young woman finds a treasure. And as the reading goes on, it explains the virtue and the wondrous nature of a young woman and how incredible they are. Ladies, I hope you hear, if you can put the reading from Proverbs together with the gospel reading, do you hear that you are the treasure, you are the talents which we were given, which our world was given, so as to fix the broken world. You possess the talents. You yourself are the treasure. Reflecting on this, Pope Francis has said, women so often possess skills that men just don't have. Pope John Paul II, in both 1995 and then in 1988, wrote extensively about the genius of women, the feminine genius, the gifts, the talents, the ability, the charisms, the beauty that you possess. And then, going back 55 years, in 1965, Pope Paul VI writes a letter to women. This is at the height of the Cold War and the nuclear arms race, where the world seemed to be on the verge of destruction. And he says something incredible. He begs women to use your abilities to hold back the hands of men, because at that moment in history, and I would propose still today, the folly and the arrogance of men seemed poised to destroy human civilization, and we needed women to help teach us peace and life. Ladies, you are the treasure which God gave to us. to help fix this broken world. Yours is the genius. Yours are the skills and the abilities that we need in this moment. Because I agree with Pope Paul VI. If you look at all the injustices, the inequality, and the violence in this world, it doesn't take much creativity to see that what's behind them is the arrogance and folly of men. I was tempted, in all candor, I was tempted in this homily to try to explain a little bit more thoroughly and describe the feminine genius. But the more that I thought about it, the more that I prayed about it, it kind of felt like a donkey describing a unicorn. And so I'm not going to explain to you, ladies, what the feminine genius is. I think you know. I think you have a sense of the talents and the treasures which you've been given, the talents and the treasures which this world needs. But I want to offer to you one caution. This is a caution that came from Proverbs. Charm is deceptive, and beauty is temporary. Ladies, you are burdened by a world that demands to such an incredible extent that you cover up your true beauty and you expose your body like so many Instagram influencers. The world around us wants to use you and objectify you for its materialistic and capitalistic gains. Don't let it. Push back on the culture that wants you simply to fit some comfortable image or conform to some prepackaged ideal of what you're supposed to be. Don't let the pressures of this world, and I would dare say the culture on college campuses is one of the most intense moments where you're pressured to conform, act a certain way, look a certain way, give in to the expectations and the pressures that a consumeristic, materialistic, and objectifying culture would have of you. Don't give in. Don't stifle or suppress the true treasure that you are and the beauty that you truly have and the genius that is yours. We need it now more than ever. Gentlemen, most of my words this morning are specifically aimed not at you, but we've got something to do. Because if we are going to take the talents that we have been given, the privilege and the power that is already ours, we have to do like these people did in the parable. We have to go out into the marketplace and remove from the marketplace all of the hindrances and the obstacles and all of the ways in which women are not given access or the way in which injustice holds them back. We cannot perpetuate the objectifying culture that uses and pushes women to the side. We already have the power. We already have access to the structures of this world. Your job is to undo it. Your job is to make a society so that your sisters can use their talents fully. Their treasures can be fully employed. That's what your job is. And I would go one step farther. Our world so violently objectifies women, especially in all areas of beauty and sexuality, and especially in a culture that becomes more and more influenced by pornography. We have to oppose this. We cannot let this get worse. We have to push back and create the space where women can flourish, their talents can be used, and their beauty can be fully expressed, and our world can be enriched with their treasures. I really believe that this is what these readings are challenging us to in this particular moment in our history. In this moment where we see so clearly how broken and divided and unjust our world is. We each have gifts and talents which we must use in this moment. And if we do, here's the good news. If we do, when that day comes and Jesus finally returns, and it will happen, I don't know when, we can be assured that we will hear the Lord say to us, "Come, share your master's joy."